Didn't the other kids tell you not to come here? Go back before it's too late!
At the heart of horror, there has always been more than spooks and scares.
Sometimes, it's not what you see, but what you hear.
Welcome to Sound Scary.
Each week, we talk to the artists, the musicians, the fans, the people who haunt the shadowy corners of your mind.
Join us as we delve into the deepest,
Darkest.
and most unforgettable earscapes.
Welcome to Sound Scary.
So, welcome to another episode of Sound Scary. Today, we're doing things a little differently. The world is a bit of a scary place. We're all locked down at home. So, this is our first Sound Scary quarantine episode. And we thought, what's more appropriate than talking about an apocalypse movie? I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, Brian. And yeah, this is a little weird, isn't it? It feels like you're so far away. And yet our guests today I'm ridiculously excited about this episode,
Right?
Guy. I'm really excited because we have two of my favorite people, Sarah Swire and Chris Leveaux from the amazing Anna and the Apocalypse on our show today.
Yes.
Guy.
Oh, we got the shirt!
Thank
Yeah! Perfect.
Yes.
I don't know if I have any paraphernalia in here either.
You've got
Modest.
Where's your paraphernalia?
Steph had a dismembered mannequin leg as like a go-to weapon in the film, and my brother and I have been collecting I've been collecting mannequin parts as a joke for a long time. But we have a big pregnant mannequin in the basement. It's really weird. It's odd. No, you shouldn't see it. It'll just change your opinion on everything. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, we already know it exists now. It's too late.
I know. I'll bring it up at the end. It's like a treat.
I would love that. Thank you.
Like how many
Yeah,
weeks?
it's pregnant. It's pregnant. I think it's forever at this point.
Forever.
It's just
That tracks.
perma pregnant.
Well, Chris, what did you get? What did you get from the film that you got to take home? I feel like
Nothing.
you got something. Nothing?
No.
What?
No, I got a free T-shirt,
That's something.
and
See?
I got a free neck warmer. Yeah, I got lots of free stuff. I don't know whether I nicked anything.
Did we steal anything?
I don't think. I mean, I must have done something. I think. Oh no, don't think I even took socks. You know,
No.
like you get given new socks, like new white socks, and I didn't even take those.
You're so good. You're such a good
Crazy.
person.
I don't know what I was thinking. Why didn't I take anything?
If you were to go back, what would you take?
Oh goodness. Probably the
I-
phone. I could sell that for about £200.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chris's phone.
Yeah.
I tried to take Tina the leg, whose name is Tina.
Oh.
I tried to take the leg and it wouldn't fit in my suitcase, so yeah, it's too big. It's really heavy.
Poor
I
Tina
can
had to be left
imagine
behind.
you getting on a plane trying to bring a mannequin leg
No way.
through
It
customs.
wouldn't
I think
work.
that would be amazing. Yeah, no way. Well, I mean, first of all, Ryan and I are massive fans of this movie. I think it's one of my, legitimately, and I'm not just kissing your guys' butts, it's one of my favorite films ever because it kind of encompasses everything that I love. I really love horror. I really love zombies. Sarah, I guess I want to start with you. How did they approach you, and what did they, we're making a musical about zombies, because you're not only in it, but you also choreograph these amazing dance numbers. How did you do this? And welcome.
Oh wow, that's very kind. I lived in Scotland for a long, long time. I love Scotland. I think it's an incredible country. I think the art that they do there is above and beyond anywhere else I've been in my life, which is not many places, but enough to have an opinion. And kind of knew, was able to be considered for the project because of my affiliation with the country and the work that I'd done there before. And so that was lucky. And then I also I'm sorry, I'm just trying to deal with the light coming through the window right now. The Canadian weather system is really unpredictable at this moment in time. I have been doing a lot of kind of cross-disciplinary art for most of my career, and has been kind of a leg up for me for a long time to have someone that can do 2 jobs at once, which has been great, and help with the budget sometimes. That mostly it's good for me and it's good for my brain to be able to be as busy and as involved in the project at hand as possible. And I find that kind of adrenaline and stress really comforting in a very sick way. But the more work I have, the better off my mental health is. So yeah, it's good. I'm very grateful to be able to have done it. And it was hard, but I'm my best friends. That's great.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are legitimately tight outside of the film. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was over. When did I see you last, Chris, in person? When was that?
Not a long time ago, like a year and a bit.
That's still really?
Yeah,
feels
it does feel like it.
Feels like yesterday.
I know it does.
I know.
I feel like nowadays though, it's because we're not seeing anybody, we're all trapped in our homes or wherever we're trapped. It's kind of weird. You forget, oh, it's been that long since I've seen you, or because I think a lot of us are talking like this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, March was a hell of a year.
It was great, wasn't it?
Oh, pure joy, pure joy. Now, Chris, I want to ask you. You do some fun dance moves. How long have you been dancing? And you did some pretty cool stuff here. Let's talk about how easily you got into the groove here.
I think I got into the groove pretty easily. I mean, I felt like I got in really easily, but that may not be the absolute truth. I had done musical theatre before, so actually that was how I found my way into acting, was doing High School Musicals. Literally, not the actual production High School Musical. Great show. We could talk about that for now. I could actually talk about that for now.
It feels like there's some DNA from that in the movie.
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I know I'm not Zac Efron, but that's who I thought I was for a long time. And so to be able to dance on top of a table was a dream come true. And to have people part in front of me as I run through them, even though it's not about me, but for a second I thought it was, and that was just a dream come true. So I'd done a bit of dancing before, but it's also different because this is character dancing as well. So it's not kind of just being super balletic or beautiful in your dance. It's also kind of, I don't know, it has, it just has more character to it, I suppose. Would that be fair to say, Sarah?
Yeah, but your grandmother was a ballerina, wasn't she? It's in your blood, Christopher.
Oh.
It's in my blood, but not in my bones. I mean,
What?
it's not permeated out into my actual muscle. It might be there in my DNA, but it hasn't actually kind of synthesized into anything that actually makes a ballerina. Definitely.
You just need to be terrified enough at some point to get things wrong that you get whipped into doing it right. The more I start to think about my psychology as a human being, I think I was just so afraid of being wrong for so long that I just forced myself to figure out how to do it correctly. And my relationship with ballet is not based off of a healthy foundation, but I've learned to love it as an adult when I'm more in tune with my body. Chris is great though on set. Chris just did whatever he wanted to do, and I was like, you do that.
It looked like it was so much fun. I rewatched it last night. It looks like everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
And kind of piggybacking on that, Sarah, what was the hardest number to choreograph?
Oh, God bless. Oh my God. I was going through my iPad the other day because I didn't have a phone at the time, partially because I lose everything and partially because I just want to be one with the world, And
Fair enough.
I was recording everything like a senior citizen and just with my giant iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all these videos. bless him. Is that mean? I don't know. I was just thinking about my grandmother.
No,
like,
it's adorable.
You're good.
Like-
You're good.
working on her iPad. He's so cute. The buttons are big. It's great. I found all these like videos of me choreographing by myself in the cafeteria, all the different segments of Hollywood Ending, and like really giving it. And then I edited them in a very crappy way into a sequence of videos that kind of resembled what the final product would be. And then I sent it out to all of the dancers that participated on that day, and everybody learned it kind of separately in their rooms. And then we all got together and had somewhere towards an hour to actually make the number work in person.
Wow.
So the time constraints that you end up having, what people don't really realize in terms of indie budget films, is that the biggest problem is, and problem's not the right word, sorry, let me choose my language better. The biggest challenge that you have, which can be an asset in some circumstances, is that you have to do things really fast, and time is always an issue. So yeah, just makes you think on your feet. Like, how can you make something look really big and studio worthy in a very short period of time, and what attracts the eye? And you just kind of have to think in that capacity, I guess. But it is a fun exercise, and it's a fun job.
I was just going to say, someone can try and think in that capacity, but actually delivering in that capacity, as Sarah does in Hollywood Ending, is like a completely different thing. Like, to have that vision of how you could build something like that, which was quite a small amount of people, for a number that looks so big. It's like,
thank you. Oh, guys. Hi.
That was such a blast.
It's a joy to watch, and it does feel. It almost feels like, Sarah, what was your inspiration? Because I grew up kind of watching like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes or these kinds of wild, big extravaganza numbers. What was your inspiration for creating the look?
Just human beings. I think.
Really?
Well, my background, since I started doing choreography, which was never my first choice, it was kind of a way to make money when I didn't have a lot of income coming in initially, and then it ended up slowly becoming my kind of like number one job. Like you get a lot of people that love to move and who perhaps don't have a strong background in movement. So then how can you give them a sequence of steps that not only feel integrated into their own body, but allow them to celebrate the movement and to celebrate the space and to celebrate the number, celebrate the theme of the story in a way that's genuine to them. So the study comes less about designing moves with my own agenda at heart and being like, I'm the choreographer and these are the moves. It's like, how can you make everybody feel like they're worth being here and make this day as special for them as you possibly can. Just trying to create a community more than creating a spectacle. And then starting from there, that being the baseboard.
Oh, that's a good outlook.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to be happy. I just want everyone to have a nice time all the time.
Create a good environment.
Yeah.
Was it your call to not have the zombies dance? Because good call.
That was the Blazing Griffin and John McPhail had very, I think, strongly decided that was not going to happen.
Glad everyone was on the same page there.
Yeah. So, me too.
I mean, we have Thriller. We have Michael Jackson's Thriller. I don't think we needed it in this film. I don't think it was necessary. Now, one of the things that I think moves me about the film is that it's such a human drama. I mean, obviously, human voice feels shockingly relevant today in this day and age. But you guys have these amazing character moments of just heartbreak and sadness. That's rare to see in a horror film or a comedy, or it's very rare. How did you guys approach that? And I guess that's really for both of you.
I suppose, like, when you're approaching any character, you're looking for the arc and what the writer has offered you. And sometimes with horror movies, you kind of you don't get as much of that because their aim is not to tell a character drama. But clearly, like Alan and Ryan and John and the whole Blazing Griffin crew wanted to tell a story that did resonate and did have characters that felt real and did have arcs that were individual and important to the emotional arc of the film. And so in some ways we kind of just turned up and did what we usually did, but with material that actually offered us a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I lucked out. I think we all lucked out. Like, this was my first feature film experience, and the bar has been set so high for people and interpersonal relationships on set, and that there must be a level of organization and I suppose hierarchy in order to make something that high octane and intricate function up the way that it does. But it doesn't mean that you need to lose your humanity in the process. And like, at no point did I feel, or any of us feel, like we weren't a huge family. Like, it just like was one from everybody, the crew, the cast, the creatives, the producers, everybody involved became very, very close. And I miss them every day. Really beautiful. And that, in that sense, that allows you to kind of like think differently about your performance, because you care about everybody. Like, you care about the story first and foremost. So.
And I feel like that really shows in the film too, kind of how close you guys all work, because there's so much heart and likability to your characters and the dynamic of the group. Like, it really did pay off.
Oh, good. Thanks, guys.
Were there any character moments or scenes for either of you two that didn't make the final cut that you kind of look back on?
No, I don't
think
know.
It's all pretty much there.
Yeah, because they cut it out before we filmed it. So because we had so few days, I think there was sequences that were there to be filmed, but then weren't filmed during the filming because there just wasn't enough time. So in actual fact, I think everything that was filmed was used.
It was, yeah, but it goes back to like, time. Like, I think we all wanted more bloopers and like outtakes, but we were also aware that we couldn't mess up. So we were just like, all of us were like, don't, like, the second we had to act, like, we all really worked hard. Like, we just had no leeway time for being goofy. Like, when we were supposed to be professionals, of course. But outside of that, fine. Yeah.
Now, were either of you horror fans before you came into this?
Kinda. Wait, no, Chris?
Not really. No, I don't.
Chris is not. I know this about you, Chris.
Okay.
I don't like being frightened. I just don't like it.
And this experience hasn't changed your mind on that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has. That isn't. I still, sitting down to watch a scary movie is not my idea of fun.
Okay.
I like spy movies. I like thrillers, but something that makes me jump out of my seat just hasn't quite won me over yet. But actually filming one is amazing, because you just get to scream and actually be scared, and in that moment it's really fun. And the Tree Emporium, where
my god,
it was fucking frightening. That was absolutely
so
frightening.
scary.
I believe it.
Somebody came out of the trees. I mean, it was just awful.
And we knew it was gonna happen, but we were so scared.
Would you actually go for your phone if you were in that case? So if that was really happening, Chris, and you're like, I dropped my phone, would you be like, no, I gotta get that phone no matter what? Would you do that?
I think I'd probably leave it behind. Unless I just bought it and I was on like a 24-month contract, and then I was like, well, I don't want to lose it now because I'm going to be paying.
Fair.
Now, Sarah, you are a fan of horror. What is your history with the genre, and what do you like?
I just like being scared.
Nice.
I don't know. I think I grew up really enjoying it. I think I just grew up enjoying the occult kind of stuff, which has been a fascination of mine. And the older I get, the more I kind of understand it better, as a window into one's own complicated mind, rather than kind of like the witchy ways in which a supernatural world works outside of our own understanding of a normal world. But I grew up reading Clive Barker, which is really creepy.
Nice.
And like,
oh yeah.
And
what's your favorite Clive Barker novel?
Oh God, Candyman.
Okay.
Yes.
And he wrote a kid's book that no one knows about.
Really?
Aberrat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, he did.
I don't
It
think
is
kids
really
when I
good.
think Clive Barker.
Oh, it's so good. Like every time
really
people are
cool.
like, "What was your favorite book growing up?" and I'm like, "Oh, maybe it was his Dark Materials, or maybe it was Harry Potter." And then I remember AATA, and I was like, "That book was insane." And like even as like an adult, like it stands. Like go get it. It's beautiful. It's so
Check it out.
unique. It's unlike any other fantasy novel for children I've ever encountered. I can't imagine anything more abstract than Aberrat.
I think Clive Barker I think he's a genius. I think he's almost like it's a genius that I don't think a lot of people can just understand, because he he creates some of the most vile, horrific images you could ever dream up, yet he's also writing really beautiful characters. Even in like something like Nightbreed, there's a lot of beauty there, you know?
I think that's what the point is, though, like in these stories, and like if what these horror films come out of are our own nightmares, really. And the themes of it and the reoccurring characters and tragedies and traumas that come out of these things are of a very human nature, then of course these things and these demons must have some sort of human side if they're coming out of our own imagination. So to take away that component from horror devalues the whole sense of horror, because it is an investigation of what it means to be alive and what the interim is between being alive and being gone. And who knows what's in the in-between. So I think, it's horror's fucking cool. There's a great, sorry, I'm rambling now, but there's a really good podcast where Mark Kermode's talking about his affinity for The Exorcist. And I'll send you guys a link after, but like it's really poetic and it explains horror in such a beautiful way. And I'm like, that's why this genre exists. But in like a very philosophical kind of sense.
Well, I love that approach. I mean, there's so much you can take out of the experience of horror, and just so many cultural reflections that horror can kind of make you focus on as time goes on, where, all these genres in the 80s are about, different crises and consumerism, and, how many different horror films are meant to mean something too. There's so much reflection you can do in these films. And I feel like, even in this film, there's so much that's kind of resonating in today's world. We find ourselves in a bit of a apocalypse situation now. What kind of parallels do you guys see between the film and what's going on in the world? Minus, the whole doomsday thing. We're getting dark.
Yeah.
That is dark.
I don't know. I don't think there's a sense of doomsday. I think what it is revealing to me in some capacity, I think another theme maybe in the film that it's revealing is that the adults don't always have it right. And and what we're discovering now is kind of the loose ties that's been holding together a lot of institutions that we thought were taking care of us, but really they just kind of don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
And it's up and all and finally, the first time, major national publications, printed press are being like, this is what the millennials are doing and this is what you should do too. And we're like, we did it!
Yeah.
Which is so great. And it's like, of course we were right the whole time. But like it's things like that are great and I think are good. And they're starting to really show people like how much they can trust what people tell them through governing bodies or through the media.
And even like lighthearted stuff. Every time I see people taking, quarantine selfies, I can't help but think of the evac selfies.
Yeah.
Like that's ringing a little true right now.
And of course, hand sanitizer is your friend. That is one of the lines in the movie. And I swear to God, if you have hand sanitizer now, you might as well have gold.
Yeah, really.
My dad made like the best hand sanitizer concoction. Because our hands are getting dry. It's abrasive. I'm taking like 5 baths a day because I'm bored. So baths are, just calm yourself down, have a bath. So I with organic hair conditioner, and like I know it's weird, and then with like a little bit of like rubbing alcohol, and it moisturizes your hand. And it makes them clean at the same time. And we never would have thought the conditioner worked, but he like checked all the ingredients and he was like, yeah, it's totally normal. And it just feels like a balm. That's also a disinfectant. Go try it out.
No, with this show, Sarah, I don't know how much Chris told you, but we talk a lot about music, and it's one of the things that I remember as a kid loving like John Carpenter's score from Halloween and being all freaked out about that and just being terrified of the music. Do you have what kind of music do you listen to? What's your go-to sound?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question. I guess everyone says that. I think saying that's such a hard question is more cliche than the question, what's your favorite music? Like, that's so hard. Like, I know the song I was listening to all day today. It was Little Mix. No, I'm just kidding. And it was. Anything. Like, I write music a lot. And I have worked as a composer, not to the extent that Roddy Hart or Tommy Riley do, but like as a musical director for shows in some senses. But like right now, so I just heard a siren in the background. That's great.
London.
That was London. Okay.
London.
London.
I have been going back to. Do you remember the artist Fever Ray? You ever listen to her? She's a part of the Knife, which is like a Scandinavian Swedish. I think she's Swedish, kind of like alternative pop combo. But she released a solo album years ago, I think in like 2009 or something. And I remembered it, and it is entirely audibly fitting for our situation right now, and I would definitely recommend listening to her, Fever Ray. She's great. Robin, a lot of Robin. I've been like going way back. I've been like early Robin. That stuff's lit. The lyrics on it.
Wait, Dancing with Myself or earlier than that?
That album in particular.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I had only listened to as a lot of us have only listened to like the radio singles, but like each song is so good. Just great club dance pop music, and unexpectedly poignant lyrics. So it's worth listening. Go do it.
Obviously, you two are from a film that has an extremely memorable and enjoyable soundtrack. Kind of going into work on this, were there any albums that inspired your performances, horror or otherwise?
I think I wish we had Roddy and Tommy here, because then they could actually tell you what the inspiration was for the music. I can remember them just talking about wanting to have every single era in there, and it does it seems to have like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And that was really fun, kind of doing it, like doing a musical that had so much different like musical genres to it. Like every one of them I love.
Yeah, they're just geniuses. Like, and they're, since the film, have been doing extraordinary work for other TV shows and cartoons and films, and they're amazing. You should interview them. They're great.
We would love to. Absolutely, we'd love to have them on. So yeah, spread the word. Let them know.
I'll make a note right now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd listen to kind of get you in the zone for fight scenes?
I don't know. Music is such an emotional trigger, though. But we spent a lot. I don't know. It was a time. It was a lot of, in like my state of mind, there was a lot of Carly Rae Jepsen.
Okay.
Very cool.
A lot of
Unexpected.
pop. I love. Yeah. What else? We went and saw Tegan and Sarah.
Oh, cool.
We saw a lot of concerts. Chris and I went to I think we went to 10 gigs. I think we counted through the course of shooting.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
It was fun.
Chris, what about you? What were some of your favorite shows that you guys saw? Both of you, actually.
We saw Loyal Carner. That was
my favorite.
Insane.
Okay.
Oh my God. I cried. I wept. His mom was there. Oh my God. It was so beautiful. His mom was like in the balcony, like looking over and like, oh my God, I can handle it. And then, what else? We saw Roddy hosts a show every year, like a festival. Yeah. Would you like to explain? You've seen it more than I have, Chris.
Yeah, it's called Roaming Roots, and it's part of Celtic Connections, which is it's a folk music festival in Glasgow around January time, something like that. And he does this show called Roaming Roots, which is sort of folk, but from other countries and other influences. So it's actually kind of a lot more rock and roll, and seeing how the influence of folk has moved into those. And that was one of my favourite gigs. That's awesome. And I think, did they do Tom Petty that year or something like that? And they get musicians all from the States, from everywhere basically. And they all come and they sing one of their own songs, and then they do one of the songs from Tom Petty or the Beatles or something like that. And you just have all these amazing musicians on stage jamming together. It's so good. So if you're ever in Glasgow around the end of January, I think you have to look it up yourselves. You can't rely on me. Then go and see it.
It's on my travel bucket list to go out to Glasgow, so that's good to know. I'll try to aim for that.
Man, absolutely. It's a great city.
I'm actually still there's a song. Did any of you see the movie Wild Rose that came out last year?
No, I didn't. Tell me more.
It's amazing. It's Jessie Buckley plays a woman who lives in Glasgow who wants to be a country singer, and she's got kids, and she just gets out of jail. She's really kind of a bit of a quote unquote lowlife, but it's just a marvelous portrait. Mary Steenburgen, the actress, wrote some of the songs. I mean, and there's a song called Glasgow, and I wept. I legitimately wept when I heard it. It's a beautiful song, and highly recommend that movie.
Wild Rose, that's it?
That's it, Wild Rose. Yeah, I think it's actually on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, great.
This is good. We're all like trading recommendations. I love it.
Yes.
We're becoming a book club, guys. I love
it. Chris has actually gotten me into some music, to be fair. He's inspired a couple of, he's made some suggestions I've been impressed with.
What have you done, Chris?
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah.
S Club.
Ain't no party like an S Club party.
Party.
You got me.
Oh no, Jimmy.
Oh no.
We're all good. We're
fine.
Can we all?
He's just...
But Jimmy's not synced.
Oh no.
Let's just dance until he comes back.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We were having a dance party.
You're still frozen.
Do what?
Oh no.
This stuff doesn't happen on Regis and Kelly. Oh, I guess
we don't have Regis budget.
Kelly and Ryan now, I guess it is.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's trying to rejoin. Hang on.
But it's a good headshot.
The joys of technology.
So handsome.
We did pretty well.
That guy.
Come back, James.
I think it looks like
quick.
Trying.
What's the dirt you have on James?
There we go. Wait, did you see me?
Actually, this is kind of I'm so into like zombie movies and that genre of horror, and your movie had so many creative and like fun zombie kills. Do you each have a favorites?
I mean, the toilet kill was really fun.
That was a blast. Yeah.
That is genuinely horrifying. Yeah, because the other ones are like they're so over the top that you're not quite as affected by them. But that one, because you can't really see the head,
and there's a crunch noise.
And that crunch noise. Oh,
yeah.
I had me, toilet, and then Raymond, who was effects and props and makeup, there with the blood bag, like him staring me dead in the eye and me staring down at him dead in the eye, and having to like time the grunts with him like squirting a sack of fake blood. So like I would be like, ah, and then every time I'd be like, ah, you'd be like squeezing the thing. It was like weird, but great. I miss Raymond every day.
That sounds like a blast.
I know, it was good. It was silly.
And Chris, how about you?
That and the snowman's head coming off, and then kind of that preceding bit where he's just lying there on the floor and there's just a head, and then Anna still doesn't believe that they're zombies. I mean, how can you not? When there's a head lying on the floor going,
so obvious, right? I was at the screening that Jimmy hosted where a zombie snowman came and visited you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was an interesting night.
Yeah, he sat in the Q&A for a long time.
Yeah,
he didn't answer it. He was just there.
Well, I mean, you can if you're a zombie.
No, it's true. I think there's something there. I think we just need to figure out what their language is.
The zombies?
Yeah, the zombies, yeah. I'm sure they're saying something.
I don't know. It depends. Depends if it's a fungal infection. Because I feel like the fungus, like if I'm working through kind of like zombie tropes, if it's like some sort of like, spore that has its own slow consciousness and uses the body, or like a body snatcher, then maybe. But if it's like a feral virus that turns you back into some sort of like primordial creature, then maybe there is no reasoning with it.
You know, they never say it in the film, but did they ever give you guys any hints about how your zombie apocalypse started?
I think it's more of a virus. I think it's kind of akin to what we're experiencing right now. And then in the scarier kind of version of what we're going through, we think it's okay. And then like a month later, it mutates again and it turns people into zombies. So we don't know. Like that kind of thing.
You do. I mean, like you're so frightened of sneezing at the moment. Personally, I am sneezing or coughing in public. And because you feel like the ability for like the mass to turn against you. Because people have become so frightened.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's either it's a weird combination of like, or diagram of like, either being afraid of your own health, which some people are more of or not as much of, or being afraid of offending somebody else who's afraid of their own health. So like the reverence that we all seem to have adopted is so odd, and the posturing is so odd, and there's like this disassociative like I guess gaze that everybody has, because nobody really feels safe or comfortable or trusting of anyone, because anyone could have it. Like everyone's a possible bad guy. You're just like, but you don't want to be mean because they're your neighbor.
But there's also a sort of like mutual niceness coming out of it. Like, you know, people kind of waving through the windows at their neighbor for the first time ever and being respectful to each other. Like it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Totally. Absolutely. I think that's like, sorry, I just need to elevate myself.
Yeah, do your thing.
So sitting up really straight and like, that's just not my style. I need a little bit of a slouch.
No, I hear you. I'm like super hunching. In the wide shot, I'm just going to look like Quasimodo.
Okay. He's a nice guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's chill.
But a talented man. Like Quasimodo.
I think we've lost Jimmy, so I think I'm just going to round out the interview with a couple questions here. We all wish Jimmy a fond farewell for this interview.
Tell him I love him. I'll tell him I love you.
Yeah, he'll see this.
Good. You're a great guy.
Oh, one question I wanted to ask you, Chris, something that Jimmy told me. I had noticed a subtle, potential Wicker Man reference in Anna, and I heard you had a connection to that film.
Yes, yeah. My grandfather directed it.
That's amazing.
And John very kindly, when we were making that show reel, said, you know, if you want to put a certain movie in, let me know. And at the time, I think my grandfather passed away very recently, but he knew that I was in the running for Anna and the Apocalypse, and that part of Scotland has some resonance for Wicker Man because I think it was filmed relatively close, and some of the people in the film, in our film, were connected to the Wicker Man Festival and also to the house in which Britt Ekland bangs against the wall. So there was just so many little connections, and then John had the show reel part of the script, and he said we could use whatever we wanted. And so I asked if I could, and he very kindly let me put in my own little Wicker Man that I built out of a wicker basket. So it was very nice to pay tribute to him. Yeah,
that was an awesome nod.
Yeah, it was so nice to be able to do that. I think he would have loved the movie as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's such a blast. And I believe there was an alien reference in there too. Is that just because you're a fan?
Oh, I didn't get to choose everything. That was
okay.
I think that was probably Alien and Die Hard, probably
That's a
John.
big fail. Yeah. Or Alan.
And Alan, yeah, probably.
Just because they were fans.
Yeah. And Alan's like the best zombie. I really think that every time I
he's
movie,
good.
Alan is like the writer that took over, or was writing it with Ryan before he passed away, and he's the zombie that looks at the tinsel when Steph's trying to get through to the headmaster's study to get her keys, and he's fucking brilliant. He's like, his body is so like twisted and contorted.
That is a memorable zombie.
Yeah, man,
writers.
he was so good. I loved him.
Chris, when you unfortunately end up as a zombie yourself, what did you channel for that performance? What went into your zombie?
I tried to make my zombie look graceful, but but a bit of Bob Fosse probably.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Hey, you
I
were
have Bob Fosse behind me. Funny face.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which sidebar? This isn't even for my show, but did you watch the Sam Rockwell show?
No, I haven't. I love Sam Rockwell. What's going on? Tell me more.
They did a Fosse show on FX.
No way.
Yeah, it's dope. See, here's my recommendation.
Okay, great.
for the interview book club we have going here.
Okay, great. We got Wild Rose. We got Fosse. We got Aberrat. We got.
There we go. We all got our homework here.
Great.
Kind of to give a bit of history with my experience with this movie a little bit, Jimmy was the one who he hosted a screening of it at the ArcLight in Hollywood and invited me. He's like, Ryan, you're going to love this film. Trust me, come in blind. And I did, and I walked away being such a big fan of that film. And like, so now it's starting to become a bit of a Christmas tradition where I'll host a screening of it at my apartment and like introduce my friends to the movie. And it's starting to kind of spread as a bit of a cult classic. I mean, how do you two feel about the response to the film and kind of its legacy? Why do you think gives it its staying power?
I think Anna and the Apocalypse has achieved more than we possibly could have imagined. We did with the project at hand. We did more with the project at hand than any of us could have possibly imagined. I am so stoked it's turned out the way it has and continues to generate fans and interest over time, and that it has a cult following, and it developed a sense of phenomena, and it had its time, like it still continues on like any kind of piece of art should. So I'm still shocked, like, and my life has become so much more interesting, and the possibilities that it's provided me have been, like, I feel so lucky. I'm so lucky. So I'm very, very grateful. It's just great. And now I have like a home to go to in Glasgow every time I come back. Like that alone is worth it. So
very nice.
Yeah, same. Yeah, just to see, well, like your reaction, Ryan, and everyone's reaction. Just like to know that it's out there bubbling away and that people are sharing it and still enjoying it, and I still like enjoy watching it. Which is, I mean, I hate watching myself, but I just love watching myself. So like, I'll go through watching myself to watch the film, and just to see people's reactions, because it is just so much fucking fun. And the way that John directed it, the way that Alan wrote it, they just managed to make something that had like drama and comedy and love and all of those wonderful things, and it just does work like together. Like, it doesn't feel tonally weird, and it's so much fun to watch. And so glad that people like yourself are sharing and passionate about it in that way.
Oh yeah, we're both huge fans of this movie, and it's so many different interesting elements that somehow managed to all blend together to make this insane fun film with so much heart. Like, it's hard not to share it. Like, I've really enjoyed spreading the joy through your work to my friend group.
Thank you.
And I guess my final question for you, what's next for you guys? And what are you up to these days?
Everything and nothing.
All right.
I think, I guess bouncing off that last kind of comment, and where I think I'm at now. I think Anna's great because it is like a testament to that. You can do whatever you want, and and you can try things, and sometimes they work, and sometimes they work, and also trust your gut. I think we ask advice too often, and sometimes that advice can steer us in the wrong directions. But if you have an instinct about something that is probably and oftentimes is very privy to your own person, your own experiences, and you have a hunch it'll do well, just do it. And then if it doesn't, whatever, you tried. So I think that attitude is kind of where I'm at right now. And I have spent too much of my life asking, is this good? And I'm just doing it anyway. And I'm just taking my own lead. Yeah. So a lot of stuff. Music, sketches. My brother and I are working on some stuff right now. He's really funny. He's my best friend. We write together. So we've been doing that. Some films. It's cool. Lots of cool stuff.
And haven't you got something coming up soon?
Oh my God. My brother and I make a lot of sketches. So we've been kind of doing that. We wrote a pilot for a TV show, which we're still developing. I've been writing music a lot, which has been a nice kind of change. I have this, I rented equipment from a music store before the lockdown happened. So technically I have thousands of dollars of recording equipment for free right now because they just were like, we won't charge you for it because you can't come to the store to return it. That's the best thing that could happen.
Oh man, that worked out so well.
I know. Yay!
Wow.
So that's been good. I don't know, just trying to really figure out what to do next by doing whatever makes me happy.
That's awesome. And Chris, how about you?
I'm kind of I'm looking at doing more healthcare stuff. I'd like to go into, nursing or something like that. I'm looking into more of that. And then I'm doing, like Sarah, doing some writing, getting on with that. And so I kind of see those two things are the way that I want to move forward. And obviously I still want to act and do that and do it whenever it comes about. But I'm kind of, I think, moving my focus a bit towards that sort of stuff. But we shall see. Change is almost
So Chris is a saint, in case you didn't know.
That's amazing, especially in today's day and age. That is particularly, very important.
Well, yeah, but I'm not a saint. But I've got a job at the moment, which is I'm lucky to have a job. A lot of people don't, and so obviously there are some people who are really at the front line and working on COVID, but I am not, and I'm taking the money and running and helping people a little bit.
I feel like you're selling yourself short, but
I think it takes a lot for someone's initial career to be very and not in a mean way, but as one must kind of be as an actor, self-centered. Your growth in your process is centered around your self-surveillance in a weird way.
Okay.
And then to be the person that you are, as selfless as you are, to be interested in helping people and working in medicine or nursing instead of fully pursuing a world where your face is in front of everything is really beautiful. I think you're great.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So as we are a spooky-based show, we like to ask our guests if they have any scary stories they'd like to share with the audience. And I hear, Sarah, you have one.
I do.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
I'm sorry, just let me grab both of my beverages for this. I was in Scotland, living with my best friend at the time. Her name is Ruby Day. And we had just found out that there are no trespassing laws in Scotland. I think there was a duke many, many moons ago who was like, why can't I play there? And they were like, because it's the law. And he's like, change it. So now you're allowed to trespass. And that field looks fun. That kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being rude. I think it's funny. And we were exploring a part of, just outside of Glasgow, this part called Milngavie. However, it's spelt Milngavie. And there's another place in Scotland called Milngavie, but it's spelled Milngavie. I love Scotland. It's perfect. And we are trespassing through fields because we know we can now. And we eventually get to the slip of a forest, spend another kind of like 20 minutes immersing ourselves into the forest. And then at the same time, we both became very aware that we had no idea where we were. And it wasn't just like, oh, we kind of slowly over time got lost. Like it was just like a bubble had popped, and there was like through maybe the depth of 5 trees, just kind of like a gray abyss beyond that, and we couldn't see anything. So we were like, all right, well, this isn't okay. I've read enough Stephen King to know that this is bad. And like start kind of like moving through the forest. We stumble upon a dead hedgehog, which is an odd thing to like see in a forest. I've never seen a hedgehog outside of a cage in someone's bedroom. Like whatever. But like eventually we move a bit further. It's getting creepier. We don't know where we are. And then Ruby stops me and she's like, wait, what's that? And to this day, I can't explain it. Like, I don't know, like no further away than like I don't even like close-ish. Like I'm bad with measurements. Like a quarter of a football field. Like sure. I don't know, maybe closer. The length of a house. I don't know. Works. Is this thing on a rock that's like doesn't look like a human, and it doesn't look like a bear because there's no bears in Scotland to my knowledge. And it's stood and it's hunched and it has texture and it has this thing coming out of the front of it. And I literally couldn't, you know when you like, it takes you a while to like realize what's going on because you've never seen something like that before. So your brain doesn't compute what it is and it doesn't take in the right information. So it can't justify. And it's like, it was like that. And like I couldn't justify what I was seeing. I couldn't make sense of any part of it. And we stood still, not knowing what to do for a little bit of time. And then eventually Ruby goes, run. And then it like came up, like stood up straight. And we just like ran through the woods. So scary. Eventually hit a wall, like The Fucking Village by M. Night Shyamalan. Huge tall, like we couldn't mount it. So like I lift Ruby up with the adrenaline of a mother lifting a car off of a child, and she pulls me over and we land on the other side of the wall, and there's just like highways, like not even like what we would have expected, like nothing that we saw even coming in. Like over the wall is just pure civilization mashed up against this abyss behind us with this creature in the woods. And then for like the rest of the week we were just like, I have no clue what we saw. Like I still to this day have no idea what I saw. Wow. But and I feel like I'm pretty realistic about this. Like I love ghost stories, but most of the time, like even before this interview, like I think that all of it is in our heads, and not all of it. A lot of it can be explained by the magic of our minds, for sure. And the tricks we play in our own minds, even on ourselves. But I can't explain that. That was the strangest thing I've ever experienced.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's super creepy.
Terrifying. And like even how like walking around, I live in a heavily wooded area. It's like there are certain days where I'm like, no, like, and it's not for fear of wild animals. It's like for fear of like, I saw something I can't explain and I don't know what it is. And I still don't know what it is.
So like that would stick with you. Yeah. Understandable.
And we looked up lore. We were like, did we see a thing? Like there is, from as far as I know, Scotland is one of the very few places on the earth with the most untouched land by man because it's so difficult to traverse. Yeah. So there's just parts of Scotland that the nature of it and the ecosystem has never encountered a human. Oh, wow. So it's interesting to see, I think even as humans, because, you know, being a part of a living, breathing space, how that space that is alive responds to you rather than you responding to it, and then feeling that pressure of knowing that these living things know that you're in its space. Yeah. Is like an odd feeling.
You're just making me want to go there more, honestly.
Go hang out.
So if I see this like strange rock creature, like I fully blame you.
Okay, good. Just say Sarah says hi.
All right, I'll pass it along. So that'll do it for this episode of Sounds Scary. I'd like to thank our guests, Chris and Sarah. If you haven't seen Anna and the Apocalypse, It's on Hulu and Amazon Prime at the moment. Do yourself a favor. It's a great quarantine watch and such a blast. Thank you both so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
It's been a real treat. Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Shoot. Okay. Ryan, Chris, Sarah, guys. Man.